Hi,
Landon, what's
here we
up?
go again.
Hey, listen. So we're already recording, but I just want to tell you, and I will have already, to people who are listening to this, I have already kind of glazed you in a pre recorded bio. But I also want to say, just me and you face to face, thank you for being so laid back and just being I mean, we had such a hard time. Our faces were freezing last time and we couldn't get a conversation. And you were just like, hey, we'll do it again.
I mean, do it right if you're gonna do it. Might as well do it right. And I'm
That's
not
right.
doing anything. I'm just like at my house playing content creator. So
I'm at my house
we've got
today.
the
Look
time.
at us.
Just playing content creator. Like pretending I know what
Yes,
I'm doing. But
but
I'm
you know what?
excited to do this. I mean, I'm glad I got to talk to you. You were such a sweet spirit, and I was like, we have to make this.
Oh,
We have to,
well, Landon, in I would say a couple years time, if that, you're going to be doing your own Netflix special, and you are, that's what's going to be. And but there's this part of you already that I see that's like I'm laid back, I'm approachable, and I don't know. To me, maybe that's one of those Southern things we need to talk about today.
like, Luke, we can jump right into the interview. I have lots to say about it.
So everybody, today we're going to have a little fun with just some things that Southerners and Landon, as I've been thinking about this too, is there a differentiation between a Southerner and a country person?
I think so. Do you think so? I think
Yeah.
so. Because, and here's where it got me. When I first started doing this, and this is the truth, this so much truth. I did not think I had a Southern accent. I really didn't think I had one because if you go 5 miles into the woods, they get real thick, like
No,
a
it's
country
different.
accent's real different than a Southern
I
accent.
know.
So I really was like, I don't have an accent because I'm used to country people. So yes, I think there's a difference in Southern and country for sure. And the overlap though serves me really well, I think, because I think there's a lot of like rural people across the whole US
Yeah.
that like family structure is similar. It relates to Southern culture by the ruralness. So they're different, but I think they relate.
Yeah, I agree. And you know what's funny about me? So I mentioned this to you when we talked before, but I'm originally from West Virginia, right on the
Right?
border of Kentucky. So my dad was a coal miner, grew up I've had to explain what a holler is to
Yeah.
people, and then I moved to Charleston for college, stayed here. I've been here for, now 25 years. I can't believe I'm that old to be
It would be
somewhere.
hard to leave Charleston. It would be hard to leave.
True that. And so, met my husband here, have our family here, all of that. We're here. But what's funny about accent is I don't think I have one either.
We don't. I don't hear anything. I
Right.
just hear normal. It's like regular.
Right. And then when I go home, I still call Del Barton, West Virginia home, in my little town, no stoplight, just little place that I love. If I'm there for 24 hours and I come
Mhm.
back here, my accent is I'm calling everybody honey. I'm like, it is so crazy. But I know I have an accent
Mhm.
because my first grader told me, his name's Henry, and he told me that I say his name wrong.
Oh,
I was like,
Henry,
"Son, I named you."
I'm the one that gave you the name. Like, I can't say it wrong.
Right. That's right, that's right. All right, Landon, let's get some of these thrown out here. So,
Let's
what do
do
you
it.
think are, if we're gonna say country, southern, what are some things that we just kinda innately get right about self-care?
Well, we get a lot of things right about self-care, and one is that part of your self-care is that we are taking care of you, and if you
Mm,
come in our house, you will be fed, you will be taken care of, to the extreme that maybe you didn't wanna be fed, and maybe you weren't hungry at all. The other day, I went to my friend Tom in Jackson's house, and he didn't even get in the door. He, like, opened the door, and he was like, "I know y'all aren't hungry, but y'all are gonna have to try this. It's a lemon tart," and just went on, and within 15 seconds, it was in front of our faces, and there was absolutely no like route out of that. So
no.
taken care of from the beginning, just from the food. But also I think self-care can look like basking in the humidity here, y'all. Like
Yeah.
that's what we've got the
Good
wrinkles
skin.
taken care of because
Yeah.
it's just like Vaseline outside. So
That's right.
so there's that. But I do think there's an element to like a slower lifestyle. And now
Yeah.
we live in a modern world, so things are different. But a culture that values like a bath in the middle of the day if it's
Yeah.
too hot, that
Yeah.
values like laying by the pool. We spend a lot of time doing like early morning things so that that middle of the day is like a still time. There's some
Yeah.
self-care involved and even just the
Yeah.
structure of the day.
I remember growing up too, and how there was always time to sit on the porch,
Always porch sitting, and it's my
Yeah.
favorite time.
Yeah, if it rained, so my granny's front porch still to this day, so where I grew up, it was our house at the bottom of the mountain, and then
Mhm.
my granny was right behind us, and then my aunt, my dad's sister,
The
behind her.
best
We
way
all
to
lived,
grow up.
and that land was in my family for over 100 years. Still, my family lives
Incredible.
there. I know. I think that's a part of kinda what we're talking about, but anytime it would rain, we would go sit on my granny's front porch and listen to the rain.
Uh-huh.
Just that, downshift of time. And I think you're right, like, the weather, plays into it,
Mhm.
like, even the heat in the South, it slows us down a little bit.
You can't do too much here, like, you can't. It's not possible
That's right,
some
that's
points.
right, that's right. And the food too, I mean, I do you know what I'm talking about when I say putting stuff up?
I was sitting here thinking about putting stuff up and how, like, even
Right.
even an action like that, like, even something that's for our survival and for, like, long term. I mean, obviously, we can go to the grocery store now, but when it would rain, you're headed to the porch, and there sometimes would be, like, a slow task, like shelling peas or something
Mhm.
that's, like, just a casual thing in the background that's not really work, but it's a task that you do to get stuff done. So even, like, getting stuff done, there could be a slow pace to it, but we're not
Yeah.
wasting time, but, like, the porch is where stuff happens, shelling the corn,
Stringing beans.
all of that, like, it's a whole thing, and so it's like this slow it's just a lifestyle of just slowly getting things done with your people over time and enjoying each other while you do it, that's what I remember of growing up, doing something that had a purpose, but it's with our people.
Yeah. I was listening to, who was it? It's probably Gary V on something, but he was just kind of talking about how, obviously we're in this place now where so much is shifting, like AI wise,
Yeah.
everything's so fast,
So fast.
whatever. But he was like, his prediction is in 30 years, what we're going to be getting back to is like a lifestyle that looks more like the early 1900s. As far, not because like we have to, because of
Right.
like technology, but because we realize the value now because we are so far removed
I
from
do.
it. And I mean, the pandemic has done it to us. I mean, here you and I are
Mhm.
like just talking and you're like, I can come to Charleston. Like, I just love it. But I think like, there is going to be kind of a pendulum swing back
I
of
agree.
like, let's get back to the porch, man. Let's get some beans out and
I
shucks and
totally
string
agree.
them.
Because
Yeah.
what do we crave as humans is, well, safety first, like when our needs are met, that's like the thing. But then we crave community and we crave family. I mean, that's what I crave. Granted, I grew up in that. So I have a taste of it. But I think that's what we crave. And I think authenticity is already a moment on social media and on the internet
Mhm.
where I think everything's headed towards a more authentic lifestyle. Ultimately, maybe we'll have a few little AI stops along the way, but I think ultimately that would like if something can do all of our little tasks for us or do all that kind of stuff for us, what are we going to want to do? And I think what we're going to want to do is connect
Yeah.
and have that lifestyle of like preparing things throughout the day. I don't know. I don't think there's a much, but you talked about the early 90s. That's what it would go back to. I really feel like I grew up in the early 90s because I grew up like you, great grandmother across the street, grandma
Yeah.
down the street, aunts down the street. And my great grandmother was from that time period. She was from the early 1900s. And so the lifestyle that we lived was like a modern version of that. It was canon. It was putting stuff up. It was quilts. It was patch
Yeah.
dresses. It was all that stuff. And it was wonderful. And the time was spent doing hobbies almost that benefited her family. That was like how she spent her
Yes.
time basically. And I can't think of a better lifestyle than that. Like getting to do little fun little hobbies that benefit my family. That sounds ideal. So like, let's do it. I'm down.
I love that too. Like you think about that aspect of it, like hobbies that benefit the community. You know what I mean? So it's not
Yeah.
like a hobby for hobby's sake or like,
Yeah.
for selfishness sake. But, when you're talking about it, like you've probably seen these, but people used to have in their houses, like you'd be able to lower down like the quilt you're working on and
Oh,
then
yeah.
pull it back up, and like
It
people
makes
would
a great
sit
fort,
around.
you know?
Yes. I remember my granny had a separate room and she had all these sawhorses set up with a quilt
Yep.
always set up that she was working on.
Mhm, always,
And
and
you're
it was
right, like we'd
wonderful.
get under that thing and play. Yeah,
It was
but the
the best
women
fort.
would come and get around it and like solve the world's problems. Like,
Solve the world's problem. I was gonna say those ladies know what's going on, and they know what's going on with you, and they know how to fix it, and they know the solution. The church sewing circles, like, that's That's it right there. Spending time doing something that, and I actually, when I said that, I didn't even realize, I think it benefiting the community probably had something to do with that warm, fuzzy feeling of doing those things, like when she was canning some putting stuff up or something. It wasn't just an activity for her, it was for everybody else, and so there
Yeah.
was that added layer of love. I think you're so right about that. That's
Yeah.
such a good
Yeah.
observation. It feels better when it's
Yeah.
for the people you love.
Let's talk a little bit more about like the emotional safety of all that. Like we talk all the time on this
Yes.
podcast of like about like secure attachment and building a secure attachment in your family and how to help your kids feel safe
That's
and
great.
how to, we're on it all the time here. It's what we base everything we do in. I think there's so much of that thread that runs through what we're talking about here. And I even now, like, if I'll do like a calm, safe space activity where I'll just kind of like meditate for a second and just sort of let myself drift to a space that feels safe to me and calm, it's always my granny's front porch. Like, that's where I
Always.
go. I'm on the
Mhm.
swing. I can feel the breeze. I can hear, we had a creek at the bottom. Like, the mountains shot up on
Yes.
both sides, and then you just watch a car go by like every
Yeah.
5 minutes,
And then figure out who that was
and where they're going.
and where they're going and why were they going so fast.
That's right, that's right. So let's think about this, like, idea of, like, safety, like,
Yeah.
in this, you know, in this we're calling it self-care, but it's really, like, I think what we're talking about is, like, emotional safety.
Right.
Yeah, yeah,
You're right.
yeah, yeah. So what comes up for you even as I'm saying that?
Well, it just there is I mean, you grew up in church, you grew up in West Virginia. I'm sure the term like unconditional love showed up at some point
Yeah.
in the conversations. And when I think back on, like, I had so much unconditional love from my family.
Yeah.
And sort of that is because, like, when you're in such a small community, you can't really do anything that that's like out of culture or out of character, like we live such lifestyle that there was not really anything I could get into that would be a surprise or, for them.
Right.
But regardless of where I was or whatever I was, the ultimate thing at the bottom, at the end of the day, was love. Like, that was the
Yeah.
ultimate thing. Like, my great grandmother, my grandmother now, if I were to go over and sit on her lap right now, she would be excited about it. It might, like, I'd have to be real careful,
Yeah,
but,
right.
like, I know that they are there for me, like, them
Yeah.
as people, they were mine in a way, like, I don't own them, but their whole lives were sort of, like, selfless for us, like, they gave themselves to us, so there was such a safety there, like, I've never had to experience being alone truly. I've been alone
Yeah.
physically, like, when I've been in other spaces and when I've been other places, but I've never personally known what it would be like to be totally alone. Like, I've always had a
Right.
support system available to me. Maybe I didn't agree with them at the time. Maybe we were disagreeing on stuff, but at the end of the argument, they're there no matter what. And there's just such a safety in that I understand so many people don't get.
Yeah.
And it really allowed me to develop as a person. It allowed me to take chances as a person. It allowed me to be this character that I don't even mean to be, is because I've been supported by these
Yeah.
women. And this whole time, there's been a safety net that's allowed me to grow and be who I am. And I think that safety is a thing. And then also there's the safety of, I bet it was similar for y'all, just like knowing that this week could be crazy, but we're going to have Sunday lunch Sunday. And my
Mm,
whole family's going to be there Sunday lunch, and the chicken's going to be the chicken, and there will be a salad, and
okay.
there'll be sweet tea, and there'll be dessert. And then next Sunday, we're going to go to my dad's family's. And then the Sunday after that, we're back to my mom's. And then and so
Yeah, the
that the
routine of life. Yeah.
consistency
Mhm.
of the rhythm of life with each other, there's a safety net in that as well. So it's just like a way life is set up. There's so much safety in it. But I think it ultimately boils down to, like, if you can feel loved and cared for, then that's about as safe as you can get, I think,
Absolutely.
in
Yeah,
my
and
experience.
I think, like, I love what you said about, like, when we have that felt safety emotionally, like, it allows us to
Yes,
maybe take risks and to try things that maybe we wouldn't otherwise
for sure.
because we know that, like, there's a harbor to come
For
back
sure.
to, you know?
And my whole life has been defined by that. I grew up around these women. The men they were working at the Masonite factory here and, like, all that kind of a stuff. And we didn't really go to daycare. We went to my great grandma's house.
Yeah.
Or, like,
Yeah.
literally, it would be like, "Go outside and we'll see you at dinner," like, that was,
Right.
like, the way we grew up, and not in an abusive way for anybody that didn't
Right,
grow up
right,
that way. There was resources and food and people everywhere. It was not sad at all,
right.
but that's just sort of the lifestyle, and I've lost my track of thought thinking about all the people that I could go to their house for lunch just then. But what what was I saying?
Yeah, just the risks then that we're able to take
Yeah,
and
exactly.
try things.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, exactly. And not only like physical risks, like we could run around outside and like not be scared of that, but also like, so I grew up around these women. So that's my voice adopted their tone. I adopted their mannerisms. I thought they were just wonderful. I loved like sitting under the quilts, listening to them, blessing each other's hearts and like
Mhm.
making prayer lists that were really gossip lists, but really were sincere prayer lists at the same time, you know?
You're right. Oh my gosh, the prayer chain.
You know,
Yes.
all that really impacted me, and I had the freedom. I mean, I'm like 5 generations into this town. I have the
Mm,
freedom to express myself however I wanted to, so I got to be a little bit softer of a character. I didn't have to I've never felt like I had to pretend I'm this very masculine person because
mm,
I had those safety nets, and even the men in my family also provided that safety nets. Everybody here just loves you for who you are, and that let me be somebody that I don't think I would be in another case. Like if I had to think about like how I'm supposed to act, I think I would be a nervous wreck all the time. But instead, I just acted like Grandma Elvie, and here we are, and it's resulted in this, and that has really, I think that authenticity has allowed me to be successful online as well. So
yeah.
I think my whole life is based off of that safety net. I really do.
And we kinda got into this a little bit last time in our talk, but, like, the way I love the time that we're in right now and, like, the
Mhm.
access that we have to one another because of social media and
Mhm.
things like that, and how there is such a beautiful unlocking, I think, that happens when one
Mhm.
person feels safe enough to be who they are. There's an unlocking that happens for other people where they're like, you mean, like, I
Yeah.
don't have to mask all the time? Like, I actually can be, like, who I am and it's okay? Like, that sort of thing, I think, is one of the beautiful things that happen, and I talk about this a lot on the podcast, but, like, I love the emotional awareness that I see in my kids. Like,
Yeah.
I am okay with where we are headed
Yeah.
in that way. Like, I just think it's a beautiful time that
I
we
agree.
live in, and to be able to describe that, and be thankful for you, like, it came from a place of, like, a safe family
It did.
who just be who you are, and then
Be
you're
who you
able to do
are.
that, and now you're able to unlock this for so many other people because of the platform you have.
And that's hard to understand, like, it really is hard to understand because you see right here, it's just me in my house with the screen, so I don't, like, really grasp
Yeah.
the large community. I don't grasp the largeness of it, but I do know that when I see myself reflected in society and the media, it does make me feel
Mhm.
better. I never thought I would be a person people would, like, see themselves in. When you say things like "Mike could," and when you say things like "Bless your heart," and you aren't
Yes.
apologetic for it, it makes an impact. People, like, really are affected by that, and I didn't expect that, but I love that, and I love just for people to be as long as who you are is a loving person who cares for
Yeah.
other people, then I wanna see who you are, like, I wanna
Yeah.
see your genuine self, your authentic self. I don't think there can be something better than that. I think it's actually, like, crucial to how we live today, honestly.
Yeah, totally. I wanna ask you this, and I'm stealing this question from Amy Poehler. She always asks people this, but
She's great.
oh my gosh, her podcast, I look forward to it
So
every week.
good.
She always asks this though, and I think it's such a fascinating question of, do you remember, like, when you kind of got your first good laugh?
That's so good. You know, I was really young. Wow, what a great question.
Thank you,
I
Amy. That did not come
Yeah,
from me.
thank you, Amy. That is really, really good. That's really, really good. I remember so we had a family mule, like a donkey horse cross, and I'm sure everybody has a family mule, right? Like
Sure,
everybody's
sure,
got
sure,
one.
yeah.
So we had one, and so my family's very involved in. We grew up very much involved in church, and like they built the church, the community church around the corner, type of thing. Really involved. And my grandfather, who's actually his name was Darling Metter, my great grandfather. That was his name, Darling. He was one of
Wow.
like 12 kids, and his older sister got to name him. And she was like, he's just Darling. So
Oh,
that was his name. So Darling was at church one day, and attendance at church was very serious. It was like, we don't miss a Sunday no matter what. And our family
yep,
was we were in the church building no
yep.
matter what. And he didn't come on a Sunday morning, one Sunday morning, and they had a deacons meeting, and they asked for prayer because Joe Metter was sick, and he made the official prayer list, got printed in the bulletin for that evening. And Joe Metter was our mule. And they thought he was in person. And I remember that night when my grandma saw the bulletin, she just started cackling like she lost it. And I just remember busting out laughing and thinking that was so funny that we had got our mule on the prayer list, like, for
Oh,
the
that's
church,
so great.
like, and it was one of those community things where, like, all the prayer lists were shared amongst the churches, so it spread, like, across the county that this Joe Metter, our family name Metter, like, somebody in the Metter family is sick and taken to the bed, and it was our mule. I was, like, 3 when that happened, I still remember it.
Oh, that's so great. That's so great. So
But that mule chased me around for my whole life, so while that is a funny memory, the mule also was a problem, but
the mule was a
good
problem. Did
material.
the mule make it to any, like, live nativities that you guys did?
It didn't, but there were lots of live nativities. This mule
Yes.
was not an agreeable mule. He only
Okay.
agreed with my grandfather. He would plow a field on occasion, but mostly he chased us around. He mostly just chased us.
So I guess my curiosity is leading me to like just this concept of like safety and risk. So to do kind of, I think what you do, which in my mind is it to me takes courage. Like first I think it takes like a lot of intelligence. So to me, like you're noticing things probably before other people in a setting. You're observing, you've got a keen ability to observe people, but I think it also takes, at least at first, it's gotta take some courage to, like, step out and name the things that you're seeing.
Yeah.
So, like, over time, like, talk to me about that process of just, like, being more comfortable in that space.
Well, like I said, I'm just so fortunate to have grown up with so much support that I kind of have it's so strange. It's like a mix of courage and ignorance at the same time. Like I live my life kind of like almost blissfully ignorant in that I mean, I have ADHD, so I have trouble processing memory. So like I won't remember that people are mad me
Okay.
on the internet. It just doesn't stay present. It doesn't stay focused in
Yeah.
my brain very well. So there's that element. So I do have an element of like it's gonna slide. It slides past me very much, but also again, this is a silly story to explain this, but it's kind of like what I decided about this. It like all these celebrities followed me, right? And they were giving me like existential crisis and like Kevin Bacon. Well, it's like Kevin Bacon followed me and I was like, this was the moment. And I was like, and Justin Timberlake, both of them, they both like caused crisis in my brain. And I was like, I have to delete everything. Like I have to get all the internet.
No one can see me
They
anymore.
can't see this. Like Kevin Bacon can't see this. Justin Timberlake can't see this. Like what? And then I had to like really have a moment and be like, okay, either you care that Justin Timberlake might see you act like a fool, or Kevin Bacon might see you act like a fool, or say something silly, or like be a caricature of yourself, or you don't care and you're just going to do this because you like to do it. And so from the very beginning, that was pretty early on, I've been very specific about like, I love observing these things. I love making these videos. I love making these observations. I love starting conversations. Like I
Mhm.
love doing this. So I'm just going to do it. It's like either I care a lot and I have to delete everything because Kevin Bacon saw it or because somebody thought it was silly, or I don't care and it's just something that I love and all this stuff has come from it. And so I really have steered to the side of like, I just am not going to care. And I love doing this. And as long as it's affecting people positively, I'm going to keep putting it out there. And so I live there in that like almost like ignorantly blissful moment of like, I just am not going to, I just can't care. Cause if you care, then I don't think you could do it. I think it's like,
Yeah.
if you care at all, then this is not for you. If you can really get to a place to where you're not impacted by what people say, then go ahead. And
Man, if you get to a place where you're not impacted by what people say or what they
yeah,
think. Oh my god.
impact people instead of letting them impact you. And that's very difficult.
Landon.
And I'm 38. It's not like I grew up. It's not like I started out with that attitude. It's taken years for me to get there. But in my like early 20s, I really came to a moment where I had split my life into 2 categories, and one was, like, the life I was presenting to my family and church and to, like, the people who I wanted to think that I was good, and then one was this guy that was, like, experimenting with anything I could and, like, trying my best to just go as far from that as I could, but I'd split them into 2 people,
Mm,
and one was at church on Sunday, and one was in my life during the week,
mm,
and for a while, that was fine for me because I didn't know anything other than, like, being who I'm supposed to be for my family. But somewhere in my early 20s, I like a mirror was held up to my face and it was like, "Do
mm,
you like this guy? Do you like sure you've worked this out and you can live this life over here and that life over here, but do you like is that are you proud of this person? Like
mm,
at the end of the day, do you like the choices that you made?" And it really made me focus on like, okay, I can be all this for my grandma, I can be all this for my mom, but then when I go and am a totally different person somewhere else. I don't love that. I don't love that very much. So I think what I need to be able to lay my head down at night and be peaceful is to be as authentic as I can be and
Mm.
be the person I am no matter where I am with who I am. And that kind of shifted how I lived my entire life. It was really good for me. And it was again authenticity, but it's like an unapologetic, you just can't even consider that it's embarrassing or that it is like wrong or anything like that. You just have to go for it.
'Cause
That's
that's
it.
risky, man. That is, like,
It was scary.
risky. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That process of just, like and I'm sitting here, I've got all my, like, Inside Out characters behind me.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
but, like, you're talking about, like, kinda 2 different protector parts,
Mhm.
kind of you got kind of maybe even an exiled part and a protector part kind of at war
Yeah.
with each other, and you had to sort of kinda come to grips with, like, "Okay, who am I? And I want my authentic person. I want my what we call our internal orchestra to kind of play in tune, in
Yes.
harmony, you know?
Yes.
Um,
I love that. That's it right there. That's exactly.
yeah, because sometimes, like, we'll have a part like, I always think of, our kind of anxiety or protectors as, like, the string section, and maybe they're just, like, playing way too loud, you know?
Yes.
And so for that, what we call, like, our core self to sort of allow that, which isn't I'm getting into too much internal family systems therapy right now, sorry,
No,
we
I
are on
love
a
it. I
rabbit
love
trail,
it.
but to let that core self actually be the conductor of your orchestra
Yes,
is
that's exactly
a
it.
beautiful thing, yeah.
That's exactly it. And it sounds esoterical and it sounds like
Ooh, that was a
all
great
it
word.
was a good word. Wow. It sounds like what would my grandma would be like woo woo. It sounds like woo woo, but it's true. It's like that
Esoterical.
really is true. It's the
Definition
best way to
woo-woo. Go ahead.
definition woo woo. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. But it's true. It sounds like we're just saying words, but that is literally true. When you live your authentic self, it's gonna do the best.
Yeah, yeah. And, how I mean, this is gonna be, like, a really weird question, but, like, it sounds like, I did a podcast episode, I think, last year where I just was on, like, a rant, and I, like, walked around in this home office with my mic and just, like, blah, 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 but I talked about, like, we get used to cages, and, like, when
Mhm,
we start feeling freedom, the default a lot of times is to, like, walk right back into those spaces that we've
mhm.
right? And so what I'm hearing from you is it sounds like you, like, are really now able to kinda run through these fields a little bit.
Yeah.
And so what does it feel like for you now to sort of, be like have that core self really conducting and kind of feel that freedom and not jump back into these protective places?
Well, I mean, obviously it's scary. Like it's a scary
Yeah.
thing to be out of your safe space, but I'm finding a lot of beauty in it lately. I really am. I'm a person who wants things locked down. I want things worked out. I want things in a box. I want things like perfectly organized. And I've lately been living in the chaos of it all and like letting the
Mm,
chaos be the comfort. And even in a very like in a less deep way, like I'm on the road a lot and I have a problem. I like really love to be at my house. And so I had a problem staying in hotels for the longest time. Like I wouldn't be able to sleep, that kind of a thing. But I kind of just
yeah.
had to let that go. And now I can relax and enjoy myself. And that's just kind of a metaphor for like kind of the whole thing.
Mhm.
Like if you can be comfortable in things that aren't necessarily what you're used
Mm,
to, then you can be comfortable anywhere. And if I can sleep in a Best Western, I can sleep anywhere. Like I don't, it's kind of like how I think about it. But there's just so much beauty in the expression, and there's so much beauty in the truth, and there's so
yeah.
much beauty in not being tied down to a cage or to a box. There's just so much
Yeah.
beauty in it. There's a lot of scary. It's scary, but there's a lot of beauty in it. I think like questions about like existentialism and like our place in the universe and stuff like that. People get really scared about those kinds of questions. And
Yeah.
obviously a lot of people don't grow up with a church background like we have, but they get really scared of those kinds of things. But if you let go and like let yourself loose into that instead of being scared of it, it's beautiful because
Yeah.
it's all put together for you. I don't know. I think the chaos is beautiful. And if you
Mm.
asked my teachers growing up if I would ever have said that, they would be like, no, this kid like would restart a paper if it wasn't like in the right
Oh,
spot.
yeah.
Like I was very obsessive with everything. I
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
wanted it perfect all the time. But the moment I let go of that, things just have just expanded for me so greatly. And now I'd never be able to go back.
Oh, I love that so much. And I think too, like, as you're talking, I'm reminded that when we let go of the control piece, we're able to be more present. which makes me think of, like, you said the word connection a second ago, and, I mean, humor and, like, laughter. I mean, what's the old saying, like, "Laughter's the greatest medicine," or whatever,
For
like,
sure.
that's such a powerful, like, connection thing and a present thing, being able to stay present. Talk a little bit about how that's been for you, like, even in your travels, even maybe when you're uncomfortable, but in being in a hotel or whatever, which, I mean, I'm sure. Talk about, like, just being able to travel and be with people and share, like, laughter and connection and what that's been like.
Well, I love it. I really love it. Like I said earlier, it's just me and my phone here, and my wife is here, but it's very difficult to understand the scope of like an audience.
Mm,
So when I get to go see people in person, it just I don't think I'll ever get used to it. And I really don't
yeah,
think that. It's been a few years now, and I still am stunned every time that people show up to my shows or show up to a meet and greet, or like I'm in an airport and somebody recognizes me, and not just from the fame side of it, just the like impact of what I
yeah,
do is very hard for me to grasp. But also it's the most fun thing. Like how fun is it that I get
yeah.
to go like just hang out with people, and my stand-up show, putting stand up in quotes for people that can't see. It is stand up, but it's more me storytelling and us just
Yeah.
cutting up and having a good time. Like my goal when I have a show, it doesn't matter if it's 12 people or 500 people. I want to connect with that audience. I want to like sit there and like find out about y'all. And I feel like my particular content is so exposing of who I am and where I'm from. And like if you're a person that's consuming that, you probably grew up similarly to that.
Mm.
A lot of my audience does. So I feel like when I meet them in person, like I know you, like I
Mm,
know who you are. Like I feel like we're friends. I feel very connected to them, and I feel like they feel very connected to me. And that's so special to be like,
yeah,
go and show love to so many people and to be loved by so many people. It's a feeling I never expected and one I did not
yeah.
expect to experience. And I've been a performer for my whole life. Like I've been on stages, I've done theater, I've done the stuff. Like I've been loved by an audience before, but this is something so different because
Mm,
it's like connecting with people who know me on a cellular level and
yes.
people who like are missing that sort of a thing that is even disappearing in my own life. Like people miss that, and what
Mm,
I thought was just regular and normal is something that is rare and is something that people desire. And so when I get
yeah.
to go see people and hear their stories of how they grew up and hear their stories of how they had not heard somebody say your mom and them in so long, or like they got in trouble for saying Mike could at work and now they don't anymore. Those are small examples, but you know, like those little things, connecting with people like that, there's not much more special than that for me. It really, I feel like I'm literally living in my purpose when I'm doing that. It like just, and I don't even think I have anything. Like I don't know anything. Who am I? I don't know anything, but I
Oh
just
my
love
god.
to be able to provide the venue and the like outlet for all these people to come together, and they do. And it's so fun to watch them like meet each other in the audience. Like they'll like be friends with each other, and by the end they'll be leaving, going to dinner with a different
Yeah,
group of people. That's just so special. But humor's the connector for it all. I've always loved humor. My family is, I think they're so funny. Both sides of my family, we valued humor. They're intelligent people. And so quickness and
mhm,
wit was very
mhm.
valued. And so what is Sunday lunch if not stand up, you know?
Yes, there you
What
go.
is this if we're not all like practicing our lines that we're dropping?
Right, that's
And
right.
so it kind of grew up in like where humor was the thing that brought us all together. And it was like we had a running joke at my dad's family, like the group of kids, that it was like, how many minutes is it going to take for them to mention baseball? And it would be less than 30 seconds, you know? And
Yeah,
stuff like that was just like a way that were just regular parts of our day. So humor was built in. And that's the connector. That's the
yeah,
beautiful connector for everything. It's the thing that makes us love each other, and it's contagious also.
yeah,
It's like very contagious.
yeah. I, definitely, and I told you this earlier, but, when I ran across you on Instagram, and myself and my teenage daughter, like, because 'cause she's been to West Virginia a ton, and,
Yeah, yeah,
um,
yeah.
I just felt so seen. Like, I just was like, "Oh my gosh," like, it hit a part of me, like, we're talking about all the inside out parts, like, it hit a part of me that really hadn't been involved in a while,
Yeah.
like you're saying, like,
Mhm.
and I think too, and I'm gonna have to cut this out because I cannot remember this girl's name, but she also cracks me up, but there's a group of really funny country.
Is it Andy Marie Shillman?
Yes. Her caricatures of like the
I
one
know
of
those ladies
I do too.
and the
Like,
papaw.
yes. Oh, Papal. Oh my gosh.
I
The
know them.
one that gets me every time is the one that works at the clerk's office. Like,
Yes.
I know her. I
I
know
know her
her.
so well. Like,
She's
I know
eating
her
her
so well.
mints. She's like, she knows everybody. She running the whole thing. Like, yes,
Really,
that is.
I love those characters, and I love that you recognize them as well because that we know those people, like, we know those people,
Yeah,
and
I
it's
mean, I got my mic today, and she does the one bit of like the lady, the church lady singing with the mic with. I mean, that's it, man. That
it's
is the
so much.
'90s,
It's
and
so that's what it is. It's the '90s, like Vestal Goodman, all them. Like it was so fun to watch that. She's hilarious. I love creators like her that capture the moment and capture
that's it.
what we have observed. And I think there's a specific '90s rural, late '80s, like rural '90s culture that people long for in a way. Like it was
Yeah.
a specific thing. And at the time, I felt like a country bumpkin compared to everybody else. You know, when you'd see people on TV doing the fanciest stuff, and now I'm like, wow, that was it.
I know,
That
you're
was the
so right
time.
about that. Like, that hits me because, you know, growing up my gosh, I'm emotional.
Yeah.
Growing up, like, I wanted to move away, you know, like, I wanted out, you know,
Mhm.
and, like, I left, and now my whole adult life, like, I love to go back there, and I
Yeah.
love to sit and listen to people and listen to how, you know, I can just I can hear them like, "I'm taking these kids to the movies, honey." You
Yes.
know, like, everybody talks louder. Everybody's got, you know, just a very thick everybody says, "Honey." Like,
Yes.
I just it's like a warm blanket around me when I go back into that. It feels like home, you know?
It does. I'm so grateful for doing this because it's helped me understand how special it is, like, when you live
Yeah.
in it, even, like I mean, you've moved to a different place, but you're still in Charleston. You're not
I
out
know.
of it entirely, but I
You're
know
right.
what you mean, you know, but when you live in it, it's hard to see almost because
Yeah.
you can't see the forest for the trees, and doing this has helped me be able to see it and see how special it is while still being in it, and I'm really grateful for that, but then things are changing even in rural places, like, I have a 12-year-old, and I hear him in the back of the house, like, on his games saying,
Yeah.
like, you guys," instead of "y'all," and I'm like, "Oh."
Oh, I know.
You know?
Right.
It's the modern world is encroaching even here, but it is something very special. It's really a special way to have grown up. I love, though, that you, like, got out to Charleston.
No, the quote got out. That and it's a different thing.
It is different, y'all. It's a very different thing, but
Yeah, it is. Like, I and the accent, I love here, you know, I think accent you know, I was talking to our local softball coach the other night, and she's got a thick accent. I my guard goes down.
Mhm.
Like, when
Yeah.
I hear, like, a twang or a drawl, like, I'm my guard goes down a little
Yeah.
bit. I don't know what it is about me, but
And it's not even that you know you're safe because you might not be,
you're right.
but you at least know, "I know this. I'm
Yeah,
aware of this.
I'm
This is not gonna surprise
familiar.
me. I know what this is." You know, like that I think that sound immediately puts us into a, "Got it. Can
Yeah.
I know this," you know?
Yeah. When I first moved here in college, my roommate and I, she was from Michigan, and we
Wow.
would I know we were 2 different we played the only thing we had
Wow.
in common was we played on the basketball team together, and that was, you
Nice.
know, we connected there, and then we became besties, but we love to, like, drive through back like, we would drive an hour in every direction on
Yeah.
Sundays around and just go to, like, these oak tree covered roads and just all these places, and I remember the first time I heard a real Charleston, like, low country
Yeah.
accent. There were these 2 older ladies that were in a big old Lincoln town car driving on one of these back roads, and Carrie and I they were driving, like, super slow, and Carrie and I, like, came around to the side slow enough, and there was not any traffic, so we came around to the side, and we were like, you know, "Are y'all okay?" And, they said, "Well, we're about out of gas," or something was going on with the car, "and we're trying to get up here to this service station, and we're worried we're not gonna make it," whatever. Carrie and I were like, "Well, we'll follow y'all there." and make sure you make it. Now, we didn't have cell phones. I don't know what we were going to do. This was like 1999, like, I don't know.
Figure it out.
We'd go knock on somebody's door together, I guess. But we followed them. We got there. And then she rolled her window back down. First of all, did you see what I did?
I did, and I didn't even register it as not regular. I just was like, yeah, she rolled the window down, like with the
Right.
manual roll the window
I
down.
just
Got
cranked
it.
it down.
Didn't even click.
Yeah. So she looked out at us and she goes, "You girls are angels." I mean,
And
and
you're
that
like,
was the first time I had
I
heard
melted.
a real that's what I would call a real Southern
That is
accent.
real. When that
You know,
R starts getting dropped and made longer.
"You girls are angels." I mean, I thought I was in like an old novel or something for a second. It was beautiful. But there's something that, even what you were talking about at the beginning, like the different accents from even maybe
Oh
the
yeah.
different, there's just something beautiful about that I hope we don't lose.
I think
So,
there is. And I think it goes back to what I've said too many times in this interview. You're going to be so tired of this word, but it's authentic. And when
yeah.
people are authentic, and from the moment, if somebody can open their mouth and I know that they're being their true selves
Mm.
because they said girls, like, then
Oh,
great. I know this and I appreciate it. And I
mhm.
also like, what's life without a bunch of color and flavor? And
Right.
accent is flavor, accent is color. And I think it's beautiful.
That's great. All right. So I think that's a great way to end it. Is
We had
there any
fun. Goodness
Oh, it was
gracious. We could do this all
great.
day long.
I know. Is there anything else you wanna tell everybody?
Oh, no, just like be yourself. Be
Be
yourself
yourself,
at the
people.
end of the day. Find me at Landon Talks all across the internet, and Landon Talks a lot on YouTube. And I actually just found out some news right now, and I think I'm going to share it. And
What?
it can be official. I just got asked to debut on the Grand Ole Opry just right now, right before this, April 22nd. So
Oh
that's
my
wild.
gosh,
So I'm
congratulations.
gonna go pretend that I know what I'm doing up there. So that's exciting. So I'm just so glad I got to be on your show. And we're friends now. And I will be in Charleston this year at some point. I'm not sure exactly, but I'm in there. I'm there all the time. I feel like there's so much going on in Charleston.
Mm,
So we have to have dinner. I have to
yes.
meet all your people and say
Sounds great.
hello to your lovely family. And thank you for having me. Like, thank you so
Yes,
much. This was
Landon.
great.